Margaret Thatcher often said her husband Dennis was the golden thread running through her life. Now, a new book called The Incidental Feminist has claimed the Iron Lady had 2 affairs. One early in her career and one with another politician. But is it ever okay to disclose past infidelities years after they took place? Now, this is a book, like we say, Nadia, and it's all claimed, of course. But how does it sit with you? Do you need to know this information?
I think if you've got a right... If you couldn't do that when they were alive without a right to reply, why should you be allowed to do it when they're dead? Because you've just still got only one side of the story, and imagine all the pain that that could cause to all the other people involved, the family and beyond and beyond. And the thing is, sometimes people know and they've made a decision that they're just going to carry on with the person, you know, so I just don't think it's anybody else's business, really.
Yeah.
I just think, and I whether you're famous or not, I just think it's wrong. Yeah.
The book, it was published last month. It also suggested Dennis, Margaret Thatcher's husband, had an unexpected friendship with a model and a showgirl and would apparently holiday with her. I mean, this is lots of information, and like you say, there's no quite right of reply because a lot of these people
when they were alive.
Here.
Yeah.
But it's like you say, I think it's all of the other family members, even the people that they've had supposedly the alleged affairs with. They have children. They mightn't even have known anything about this. I think that's quite a tough thing to potentially deal with for a lot of people.
Exactly. I mean, say if that was my parents and I found out after they'd gone, that would affect everything, every memory and everything about that person, you know. So I just think...
But I think a lot of people, and especially probably from that era, which is like my mum and dad's era and all of that, I think they did keep it to themselves. It wasn't something that they shared, and they didn't have the media that we have nowadays. You know, when I was in my mid to late 20s was when I found out from my mum that I had a half-sister that I never knew, none of us knew anything about. So my dad had a liaison with another lady who got pregnant at the same time my mum was pregnant.
Oh, God.
And I think, if anything, it probably affected my sister, who she was carrying at the time. Probably affected her more.
Yeah,
because it was around the time that she was pregnant with her. But yeah, I mean, it was shocking. But because of the way my mum stayed with him and went on to have 5 more after that, you know.
So it was their secret.
So it was their secret, their decision to keep. Obviously, for us, then we searched and searched for our half sister, but we never got to find her. But it was, it is quite a shocking thing to find out. But then the way my mum handled it, I thought, well, that was how she chose to, and that's her decision. And you know.
Yeah, because a lot of people would just assume that if they found out that partners had an affair, they're going to leave them. Well, no. Millions of people decide not to do that, and that's it.
I mean, I think if a politician is active, if they're in power and they're standing and telling the rest of us about family values, etc., then there's an argument for if they're not, you know, doing what they're telling us to do.
Yeah, there's a public interest.
But this, I don't know. I just feel it's a bit reductive.
Yeah.
It's a bit kind of like, you know, she achieved so much. She's our first female Prime Minister. She achieved so much. So suddenly, like, sort of say, oh, well, she had this affair and this affair. And actually, her authorised biographer, Lord Moore, he said, oh, yeah, I heard these rumours at the time. He said there was no compelling evidence. And then another one he said was vanishingly unlikely. And as you say, you know, dead people don't sue. So, you know, none of the people that are mentioned are here to refute it. And it's like...
It doesn't matter
Yeah,
now.
I just think that's, you know...
Who cares now?
I feel it's like we don't need to reduce people to who they slept with.
Yeah, it's not a business.
Very true. Now, have you ever wondered what the dads talk about at the school gates? Well, Jane knows. I don't know how. But, yeah, she does. Go on,
I'm in the know
us.
because...
hiding in the bushes.
Yes, I have. That is my secret. No, I read an interview with David Gandy, the model, and he was saying that when he's at the school gates, all the dads... Oh, there he is, looking like that at the school gates. He was saying that all the dads at the school gates, where his kids go to school, were talking the other day about HRT, about their partners being on HRT. And one of the dads said, oh, make sure she, as in your other half, gets the patch, because it makes her up for it. And I was looking at him thinking I probably wouldn't need a patch, to be honest, to be up for David Gandy. But, yeah, so it's quite interesting that a group of men
were
standing at the school gates discussing
Menopause.
HRT, because we probably wouldn't have thought that, would we?
That's progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you,
it doesn't sound a bit self-indulgent. Yeah, I mean,
But are they
there's a reason.
discussing it with their other halves, or are they just saying between themselves, look, they go off sex, so make sure you get the patch?
Yeah, but I think that we're in danger of always thinking that it's just men that want sex, or just it's only good for men and Colleen. But but the thing is, it's like it affects a relationship, and you know, 'cause sex is really good for you. It's good. It's actually physically and mentally good for you.
Very good for you.
So maybe all those men at the school gates are thinking of our health.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
That'll be what it is.
Would you have, and well, I know you do, you have very honest conversations with Mark as a couple. That you've always felt very comfortable about talking about changes in your body.
We haven't always felt comfortable. We've forced ourselves to do it because I always find it really weird that people can live together for years, you know, have babies, go to the loo in front of each other, but won't have, like, those, like, tricky conversations, that embarrassment, the shyness, you know, to be intimate isn't just about sex, it's about to share that stuff, isn't it? But it is so difficult to do, I get it. But I think if you just set a bit of a time aside, like the way that we never used to talk like we do now, but we started a podcast years ago, and we always say we'd be divorced if we hadn't started that podcast because we make each other talk about stuff.
Yeah, and tricky stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I do think nowadays, though, I definitely think the younger generation open up a lot more than our generation. Because, like, Kira and her fiancé, Max, they literally talk about everything. Kira's not shy about anything. And they're really open with each other. You know, she'll tell him how she feels, whether it's to do with, you know, periods, or they literally talk about everything. And even I sometimes go, I would never have spoken to my other half
when you're a rich woman.
Yeah. Well, I would now.
Yeah,
But she's grown up around that.
But
though,
she's grown up around
like,
it, yeah.
Like I would be mortified if a tampon fell out of your bag when we were teenagers.
You'd have been doing it wrong for a start. Probably best to talk about it.
My bag. You know, we'd be mortified, but now our kids, wouldn't they? They would send their boyfriends out together.
Yeah, I think they're much more open. But I think a lot of people our age, that they feel that if they say too much, it removes a bit of mystique.
Yes.
And then you become very familiar, and familiarity...
You don't want too much.
The old phrase breeds contempt, etc. So I don't know, I mean...
Not too graphic,
whatever floats your boat.
It's a personal thing, isn't it?
Yeah, what about you and Frank?
We've always talked about everything.
Yeah.
And nothing kind of grosses either of us out, you know, any bodily functions. You're talking about going to the loo. Like, literally,
Would you take him
nothing
to a smear
bothers me.
test?
If I had to, yeah. I'm not sure he'd want to go, being honest, now that I think about it.
No, but it's quite a good...
would have absolutely no problem.
That's hideous.
I wouldn't.
No, but it's not going to be a date night anytime soon, trust me. But no, I have no problem having chats about anything. But just having our conversation now makes me really appreciate that is the way. Because obviously it isn't for an awful lot of people and can be hugely isolating.
And embarrassing.
For both a man or a woman without understanding the situation that's going on.
But we shouldn't be embarrassed. For years, we were embarrassed about our tampons and our sanitary towels and having periods when these amazing bodies do all they do. And that's what we hope for with menopause and HRT, that it just becomes normal. As one of our production was saying this morning, wasn't she? She said, you know, if she was going out with a new... suddenly, alert! That's my HRT patch. But she was saying if she went into a new relationship, she would be embarrassed and hide the fact that she's putting on her estrogel or taking her progesterone. I was like... But that's really... Why should we be ashamed? What's embarrassing about it? You know, it's just our hormones.
No, of course, exactly. You showed your patch with pride as well.
Well, on I'm a Celeb, yeah, my patch, because obviously you've got no choice. You just have to get in the shower and there's my patch. But I didn't actually watch the show because obviously I was in when it was going on. In the jungle when it was going on. But according to my daughters, they didn't see my HRT patch. So I think they decided to spare the nation.
Mark says I look like I'm from a
backside.
Yeah, a bargain basement bucket because I've got so many sticker marks all over my body. It's very sexy, you know.
Very, very sexy. He's not complaining.
He doesn't complain.